to Devils United. We'll be doing a fun stream today, our first prediction stream for the Euro 2022. We'll be doing Group A. We've got Chloe and we have got Andy. Chloe, how are you?
I'm really well, Maisy, and I'd just like to say a big congratulations on your 1,000 subscribers. What an achievement that is, and I hope I'm lucky to be on it, to be fair.
You're always part of this panel. I absolutely love having you on, and thank you so much for the lovely words. Andy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, echoing what Chloe said, fantastic for 1,000. I'm sure you're gonna go even higher than that. And for some reason you like me on, so that's great. Hopefully I add something to it. But no, it's joking aside, it's really good fun, and you're a good mate as well. So it's fantastic. But yeah, I'm good, ready to not be at all competitive in this sort of choose the game situation at all. Chloe, watching you.
Thank you so much as well, Andy, for the lovely words. And just exactly what you've said, we're all friends on this panel, and this is what makes YouTube and our streams so much more fun, that we are all friends, which I absolutely love more than anything, because it's just like having a chat, isn't it, with your pals.
Shout out to Andrew, though. I'd say queen of YouTube, mate. You got to give it the right level.
Oh, Andrew's so lovely. He does call me Queen May sometimes. But, hey there to Josh. Hey there, Doug. Hey, Andrew. And hey, Luca. And hey, Jordan. Thank you all for tuning in. And thank you as well to Josh, Doug, Andrew, and Luca for the lovely words as well. It does mean a lot. And TJ, hey there to you. Thank you for tuning in. So we'll go with the first game, which is going to be the opening game. So I've got it here on slides. So this is all going to be the Group A games, but we'll start first with the first one, England versus Austria. So what we'll be doing, we'll be predicting the scores, and we'll also be, at the end, predicting the table plus who's guaranteed to score. So we'll start first with the games. England versus Austria, opening game at Old Trafford. What a perfect venue to be at. We'll go first with you, Andy, on what you think is going to be in terms of the score for England versus Austria.
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? It very much depends whether or not Grandma gets a free pass on the squad.
Which Grandma?
Or not. There's only one. There's clear no. Whether or not we take Steph Horton, which I've said on other shows that she should have gone in 2019. I know this for a fact because I was at the game at Wembley and I saw with my own eyes with her hands on her knees, gassed after 80 minutes. So that was 3 years ago nearly. But it depends. No, I think obviously it's going to be a big occasion, but then hopefully England would kick on with a full Old Trafford, and it will be a full Old Trafford. So I would say, because it was quite a high. I'm trying to think what it was when we froze to death in Sunderland. What the score was?
It was 1-0 to England. So we did actually have a full squad out that day. We had the likes of Frank Kirby, Ellen White, Rachel Daly, Millie Bright, and we only managed to score one goal.
Yeah,
I'd say. You know what? I'd say 3-0. Because I think there's going to be such a build up to that game, and just like United women at Old Trafford anyway, that once one goes in, I don't think they're going to have the strength to deal with a full Old Trafford against the host in England, and I'd say 3-0, and I suppose I'm going to start hopefully with a positive, because I think a clean sheet for Mary, which I believe will be number one goalkeeper, would be a good way for her to kick on as well.
Definitely, I agree with that completely. Hey there to Garrett, hey there Charlie, and hello to Helen in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for the lovely words to Charlie. Andrew has said, I am really worried about the Lionesses. A few of the ladies look like they are not the players they were 2 years ago. Ellen White and Lucy Bronze, their legs seem to be very questionable. Do you agree with that, Andy? Because I do agree.
You missed Steph Horton there out there as well, but
Jill Scott.
Yeah, and Jill Scott. Yeah, too busy doing coffee podcasts these days. Yeah, Ellen White's probably still got a bit of gas in her because she does score, but the problem is she's born offside. So, but again, I would say, to be honest, if I want to be analytical and less jokey about it, if you're aware that you're losing your pace, you are going to leave that You're going to lose that margin because you need to make the ball. So you haven't really got the ability to have a bit of a half-yard margin, because if you're going against a defender, they're going to get there first if you're a little bit older. So it might be the reason why she's born offside is that a lot of the time she's right on the edge of being offside. And then obviously with the I'll practice the extremely high quality and consistency of our referees in the women's game. See, that was vaguely believable. She's going to get caught out. I mean, Ellen White's all right. Lucy Bronze, she's probably still got a lot of energy with her. And obviously, it's one of those. Maybe this is a transition show where we have to stop being like bitey because they're City players and remember that we're all England for the next month.
That is true. That is true. It's hard to be nice to a City player when you're a 90 player. But
what about you, Chloe? The same question about Ellen White and Lucy Bronze.
I think for me, I think they're both good players, and I don't think they've had the time at the club. I don't think they've been played enough at the club, and that's what we've not seen. We've not seen Ellen White start. She's come off the bench, and she'll be starting for England. And for Lucy Bronze, she's had that injury, and she's only come back in the second half of the season. So for me, I think Lucy Bronze is going to be a key part of the England squad. She's going to be a key part. She's going to be on the right hand side, and it's going to be whether or not she's going to play all games, or whether or not she's going to play a couple of the first one, for example, and maybe the second one, then have a break on the third game, and then play the bigger matches, so the quarters, the semis, the final, and have her ready for them games. So maybe, like I said, maybe start for the Austria game with it being such a big one at Old Trafford, and then rotate and go from there with Rachel Daly and get her ready for the knockouts. But like I said, I think with her only coming back from injury, she's not had that full season, that preparation, and she's only, I think this is her second time she's called up with Serena, whereas Ellen White's been in the England squad since the start with Serena.
Since Dinosaur ruled the earth.
And she's just, I think for me, she's one we're gonna have to watch. And yeah, she's offside. Yeah, she goes offside, but at the end of the day, she's one that tries. She's a player that tries and gets in the box for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a problem in a way, because if whether or not you end up with a Russo starting and then Ellen White as sort of impact player off the bench, but now with Chloe, I think that's sort of against the sort of unwritten rule of England Lionesses. So I think it might be the other way around. Maybe if Alicia Russo isn't playing to start, she might come off the bench as an impact player.
Mm-hmm. And that's not even a bad thing either, to have Russo coming off the bench. But I think she does, especially for a couple of games we do have in this group stage, she does deserve a start as well. Yeah. I know we're going to touch on a bit more of the games, but hey there to Rave. I hope you're well, and hello to I Like Coffee. Thank you as well for the lovely words to I Like Coffee. We'll go with you, Chloe, now as well on what score are you going to go for this game?
So obviously, again, I was at the 1-0 against Austria and Sunderland, and I thought we could have scored more goals. I'm not going to lie, but I also thought Austria could have scored. They had the chances. So for me, I think I'm going to go with a 3-1 England.
I was close. I was thinking of doing that.
I think they've got the forwards in Nicola Byler, who's a good forward. And she's one of the players that is probably a lookout for Austria, along with a few of the midfielders. But for me, I think 3-1, and it's going to be a good match. The atmosphere is going to be brilliant at Old Trafford. Opening match, 8:00 kickoff, and it's just going to be a fantastic atmosphere. For the Lionesses, and for it to be such a big stadium as well to kick it off. What an atmosphere it will be! What do you think, Maisy? What do you think? What's your prediction?
For my prediction, I've gone for actually a 4-0 to England. I think this game in particular, knowing that we are hosting it, it's the opening game. You do see a lot of opening games where they really do step up to the plate. When I do look at you've seen England where they have had games before at the beginning, they've really put their name forward, especially in the last World Cup. And we've got near enough pretty much the same squad as last time. So I think that knowing that they've got that tournament experience as well as some younger players in there as well. I know, for instance, it's going to be like Russo's first proper tournament, and for that, Tunis as well. And in that respect, I think they will want to show that I'm ready for this, and I think that they will want to have a proper good shot at it, especially knowing that with everything what's gone on with at Manchester United, Frank Kirby for one, she's coming back after that serious injury. So another player who's going to want to step up. Lauren Hemper's another one who's going to want to step up, knowing that it's a proper tournament for her as well.
I think as well. I think with what went on at the Olympics, Beth Mead not getting picked for the Olympics, that was very questionable. So she'll be wanting to show Hegarisa what she missed for the Olympics, and that's going to be it's going to be a big tournament for her. Like she said in her press conferences at the end of the season, like she had that disappointment of not going to the Olympics, which is one of her big dreams. And it was one of her big dreams, and that might never happen again. And that disappointment, it did show through during the season. But then she kind of was like, right, I want to get picked for the Euros, forget about it, move on. And this is her time to shine for me, for Beth Mead. And like you said, Lauren Hemp as well. Chloe Kelly, who's just coming back who's come back from a serious ACL injury. And I think for me, she's one that we have missed in the squad. And I think if it was for me, she would be one that I would definitely would take as part of the squad, definitely be part of. And I don't know if you've just seen, but from UEFA have said that we're allowed to make the squad official, but then there's allowed to be changes up until the first match, which is good. So if we do get late injuries, then we can have that backup. So I think it all just depends on who's going to be in 23 and then who's going to be in the reserves, which is going to be the main question.
Ravi has a question about the formation, and I think our formation works better in a 3 at the back. I've seen a lot better at 3 at the back, and I will probably have to go for a 3-4-3. Will probably be the best formation for us. I don't know if you do agree with that, Chloe.
Yeah, I do agree. I think having that 3-4-3 is probably one of our best formations. But I think if we ended up I think for Norway, I think we might go to a 4-4-2. Okay. And I think for Spain, if we play Spain, it'll be a 4-4-2. I think against the more attacking teams, so like I said, like Norway, Spain, Germany, Holland, Denmark, Sweden, I think we'll go to a 4-4-2. But against the likes of Austria and Northern Ireland, I think it would be a 3-4-3, because I think we're more stronger in the midfield as well as in attack, because we can bring Lucy Bronze through the wing and she can get back, she can go up. So I think that is one of our best formations in a 3-4-3.
Would you agree with that as well, Andy? 3 at the back's probably the best for England from what you've seen?
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed that again, it's maybe trying to kind of have that theme of transition, that it is liberating to be with Serena because she's very, very attacking focused. And even when we were playing Latvia and spanking them, nearly 20-0 and all this kind of stuff, they didn't really slow down. Obviously, it's a competition, it's a tournament, it won't go to that level, but that's the kind of person that I like. So I definitely see her prioritizing having formations that end with three attackers. Norway is going to be a different kettle of fish because of there is a definite quality increase with the Norwegian team, and I'm sure we'll get to that point. I mean, essentially, without sounding too dismissive of the other two teams, it's essentially a one-round playoff. This group, England v Norway. The winner of that will win the group, and the loser of that will be the runners-up.
I agree with that completely. To TJ's question, yes, there is going to be a VAR at the Euros, so it'd be interesting to see on how that is actually going to get used.
Full VAR as well. Full VAR, and because obviously of the experience involved, the VAR refs, or whatever they're called, assistants that be used, are professional men's level refs. So they're like 5 levels above what you would normally with the person on the field. So you would hope that's going to help, but ask Real Madrid when they play Barcelona. And that penalty that really wasn't a penalty, but for example, so we'll find out.
Hey there as well to Vincent in the chat. Before we go to the next game, Andrew did say about Mead and Hemp wide tune back up. I think what will end up happening if we do play a 3-4-3, I think Mead and Hemp will be as the attacking 3 players, and I think she'll drop Toon back, so she'll be in the midfield, in the middle of the midfield. Do you know, next to the wing back players? Go
on, Maisy.
What do you think, Chloe?
I think for me, I think Tooney's going to be in, like you said, in midfield. Yeah. And I think in the back, it's going to be, it'll be like 1 or 2 centre backs, and then a full back, whether it be Alex Greenwood, Demi Stokes.
Greenwood, I think it will be Greenwood on the back, and then I think Stokes will be the full back.
And then I think up front it will be, you'll have Ellen White central, and then it'll be Hemp one side, Beth Mead the other. And then it'll be Russo come on for either Hemp or Mead, because she's that kind of position. And like Frank Kirby coming on for Ellen White. But then you've also got the likes of Nikita Paris as well.
I think she'll be the backup.
Yeah. I hope so. Because there's rumours that United might be sniffing around with her, and we don't want that. But
Rachel Williams, another one. Who was sniffing around. Oh, retirement home FC incoming.
Look, Chloe's got a lot of knowledge on Austria, because I think it was We Play Strong, a couple of players are part of that campaign, aren't they? I noticed that Vicky, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, hopefully nobody's Austrian, Schneiderbeck has left, well, technically Arsenal, but she was on loan with Spurs second half of last season, apparently, and she is the Austrian captain. Do you think that's any kind of advantage? Obviously, they've got a captain that's played in England, Chloe, about how to deal with England players.
I think with Victoria Steinbeck, she's not left Arsenal. That's Lisa Evans left.
Right.
She's not been announced that she's left yet. I think she's still got a year on her contract for Victoria Steinbeck. But I could be wrong. I didn't see anything of that.
It's literally today. I've literally just seen it.
I've only just been announced then.
Today. It sounds, but obviously she's captain as well. Maybe we're doing that thing that people have said about a bigger deal on captain. But
I think with being a captain and playing in England, you're gonna know what players are like. But it's one of them, like you are gonna know, but sometimes players play a different style in your national team to club level. So I think she'll have that mindset on Beth Mead and the players she's played with and against. But with the likes of Rachel Daly, who plays in Houston, she's not going to have that knowledge. She's not going to know. So the players who play abroad, she's not going to know. But she's going to be acclimatized to the weather conditions, whereas most of the other players haven't been. And then obviously touching on your other point about We Play Strong, I have the Euro sticker book.
As do I. I nearly. Oh, hello! I have got it within arm's length. There we go. That we planned that.
So we in the Austrian team we have Sarah Zandiesel and Laura Fensinger, who are both part of the We Play Strong, as well as our very own Beth Mead in the England squad. And then you've got in Scotland, you've got these two Evans, but obviously, fortunately, Scotland haven't made it. So with Sarah and Laura, they both play in Germany. Sarah plays for Bayern Munich and Laura plays for Frankfurt.
Oh, she gets a bit of Georgia Stanway then before she goes to Bayern Munich next year.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be, them two are going to know. They've played for Austria for years. They've played a lot of tournaments. Laura made her debut in 2010, and same with Sarah. They both made a debut in 2010, and I think them two in midfield, they're very good. I remember watching them in Sunderland, and it was Sarah's. I think Sarah started, and she had that atmosphere that she's a good player. She's very tactical, but she doesn't get a mention a lot. And same with Laura. I think she only came on for 10-15 minutes against us at the Sunderland game. But again, she's very attacking and very, very quick with the ball. So for me, in midfield, they're two to look out for. And then, like you said, it's Victoria Steinbeck in defence. We all know how well she plays. And obviously, Manuel Sinsberger, who's Austria's goalkeeper. So them for me are the three, like the four good players, as well as, like I mentioned before, Nicola Barrel, who plays for Hoffenheim in Germany. She was the player for me that stood out in the Austria game. She's a player that I wouldn't mind at United.
Okay.
She's that forward that she can play up front and drop back at the same time, and be in that central midfielder role if need be. And she's one of them players that I think, for me, if like the height, she's 68 meters, so she's tall as well. So having her in the box, that's going to be the height differential. Alongside Stephanie Nzinga, who's quite tall. She's 1.73 meters, and so she's very tall. So for me, them two are two forwards we've got to look out for, and they're two forwards for me that can make a difference in the Austrian game. So it's going to be a good match, and it's going to be good to see their improvement from when we last played them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Hey there to Solo, who's in the chat, and hello to my queen. Thank you as well for the lovely words. It means so much. So we'll go now on to the next game here, which is Norway versus Northern Ireland. I think this one is going to be an extremely interesting game as well. I'll take it with you, Chloe. What's your score prediction?
5-0 Norway.
Ooh, good one. 5-0 to Norway. Wow. They're going to have quite a battering then, aren't they? What about you, Randy?
This is like, you know, like if you ever used to play like Mortal Kombat or like Street Fighter when you were a kid, just to sort of de-stress, and you absolutely hammer them into submission and it sort of goes finish them. I think this is exactly what's going to happen here. You know, unfortunately, again, shout out to that sticker book, because you actually learn quite a lot about the players as well. And Northern Ireland has I would say, majority of their team play domestically in Northern Ireland and are amateurs and not professional. There's also two members of their team that actually play for what was a tier 3 club in the National League, which is Southampton. Now, obviously, they promoted to tier 2 next year. You just notice the difference in level that they're playing at. I mean, to be honest, they're really happy just to be there. I mean, but saying that, to argue against my own point, when Austria played them recently, well, in the group, they only beat them 3-1.
Yep.
So Chloe's gone 5-0. I'm tempted to say, to be honest, I'm tempted to say 8. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be an utter demolition. because Norway haven't had Hedenberg back for a while. She's only come back recently.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to use them as a bit of a punching bag to get sharp for England-Norway.
Yeah, I was actually looking then at the Northern Ireland team, and the player who's at the highest ranks are Demi Vance, who plays for Rangers, because they've obviously won the league, and the other one is Rachel Furness, who's actually been linked. Well, she's actually gone up to the WSL now.
Yeah.
So that's for me. They're probably the two players who played the highest professional football. Looking at it, the rest of the Championship, Tier 3. So it is going to be a very difficult one. And I think that Northern Ireland, they are going to extremely struggle. I think they'll struggle in the league anyway, just in the table itself, because it's the first time actually in the Euros. So I think they will really struggle.
I'm just happy to be there. And, you know, I would have had nicer words to say if Northern Ireland wasn't ruled by a dinosaur. Here, the manager, who, if you remember, famously when England played at Northern Ireland, said of his own team that the women are emotionally unstable when they lose a goal. They struggle they crumble more than men. So I'll let everybody ruminate on that. And then, of course, the Northern Ireland captain then came out and defended him. So, yeah, I mean, you know, as I say, 8 might be a bit high. I mean, Chloe started at 5, but maybe we're going to go through these. You'd be like, hey, you said 8. I'll be like, oh, God.
Well, you still get a point if they get the win.
But you know what? I think it could be an utter demolition, and it'll be pretty rough for Northern Ireland. But yeah, I think it'll be a demolition.
Yeah. Before I give my score prediction, Chloe, what did you want to touch on in terms of the Northern Ireland team?
Yeah. So like you were saying, the players that have like you were saying, the players who have, some of them are Northern Ireland based and are amateurs, and then some of them have played in Scotland. So, like you said, Demi Vance playing for Rangers, Kerry Beattie playing for Glasgow, and then you've got the likes of Simona McGill, who's left Everton, playing for that. She's one to look out for. Rachel Furness, who is again probably one of the best players for Northern Ireland, and then Kira Watton and Laura Rafferty, who was once Chelsea, if we remember, in the academy. So for me, them two have come up with Southampton, and Laura Rafferty's defender, Claire's a midfielder, and them two have played really well for Southampton. So it'd be good to see them in the Championship and back to elite level, because it's going to be good. And I think as well, you've got a keeper, Jackie Burns, who is actually from a university in USA. So that just shows the variety of Northern Ireland capability. So you're getting someone who's got a scholarship over in America to players who are amateurs and have a part-time job in Northern Ireland, to then go into Rachel Furness and Simona McGill having full-time games and being full-time players. And then you're getting the likes of Laura and Kira, who were part-time with Southampton, but what I've heard is Southampton are actually going to be full-time in the Championship, and all Championship teams are going to be full-time, which is fantastic news. So for that to be a big stepping stone for the likes of all these players getting to play at one of the big stadiums, or a couple of these big stadiums, it's going to be incredible. But yeah, there's some standout players there for me, for likes of Rachel, Simona, and Laura. She's very, very defensive, Laura, for me, and she's probably one that she's one of the best centre backs for Northern Ireland in my eyes. What's your prediction, Maisy?
My prediction, I'm actually gonna go for a 6-0 for.
You're gonna split us. I know you're gonna split us. I knew that.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 6-0. I think it is going to be a battering for Northern Ireland, which is a bit of a shame. because I like Northern Ireland, as in I like the country, but I can't see anything past but a Norway win, and I think Northern Ireland will be lucky to even get a goal, in my opinion. Hey there to Chris, who's in the chat. Before we move on to the next game, Andy, did you want to touch on something about...
A couple of things to highlight just to join on to Chloe, what was saying. Obviously, United fans, we've got a player here, Sarah McFadden, who plays for Durham.
Oh, yes.
So I don't know if she's one who... Was she the one who put Mannion in a headlock? One of them, they're all physical as hell anyway. That was one of them. But yeah, I mean, just as an illustration, if you look at the defense or those that are marked as defenders, at least by Panini, you've got, basically you've got clubs where if you know who they are, you'd win money on Millionaire. Julie Nelson for Crusaders Strikers in Northern Ireland. Demi Vance, which obviously Chloe's mentioned for Rangers. Laura Rafferty, Southampton. Kelsey Burrows, Cliftonville. Rebecca McKenna, Lewes. Ashley Hutton, Lichfield, Rebecca Holloway, Birmingham, then the Durham one, and Melissa, and then obviously going to the midfield. So they've got a very weak defence going against Torres-Stottier, going against, much bigger names. I mean, you know what? Football's football, and at the end of the day, maybe they could just sneak a 1-0 and we're going to look stupid, and you can clip this up and use it as a promo. But no, I think it's going to just be an experience for them, I think.
Yeah. Andrew said Durham ladies sound like a rowdy bunch. You can say that. That's one word. That is one word. Yeah,
they are. We're obviously in the Conti again next season, so we might end up with we always end up with a triple there. They're like City. They love putting us together. So we might end up going there and having fun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And hey there to Reese, who's in the chat as well. I hope you're well. Absolute destruction predicted. Yeah, potentially. We'll go now on to the next game, which I'm going to say is the bore fest of the group, Austria versus Northern Ireland. I'll give my prediction there first. I think it is going to be a 1-0 for Austria. I can't see many goals being scored. I think it's going to be one of them games where you're going to feel tired watching it. So I can't see anything past an Austria win. I can't even see Northern Ireland picking up 1 point. That does sound a bit tight, but I think it's going to be 1-0 to Austria. What do you think, Ander?
Just looking again at some of the scores where Austria have played sort of weaker teams, it's so hard. Oh, actually, you know what? I shouldn't be looking. You should ban us from doing this. They played in October last year and drew 2-2. Northern Ireland and Austria. But to be honest, I suppose the answer is it depends what happens. Obviously, the game before, because if they've been absolutely smashed and embarrassed, then the confidence is going to be down. They might park the bus or attempt to park the bus even more than they would previously because they just want to get a 0-0. So what was yours? 1-0? Did you say
1-0 to Austria?
2-0 to Austria.
Oh, interesting. And Chloe, what are you gonna go for?
I'm not gonna go against you, but
yeah, you are with that face.
With that face, it sounds like she is.
It's that Northern Ireland have scored against Austria. I'm actually going to go to a 2-1 Austria because I can't see Northern Ireland not getting a goal in the competition. I can't see it happening. For me, I think they've got the forwards to make goals. They've got the attackers, and if that one might move, that one pass, that cross, that can make or break a goal. And for me, they only need to do that. They only need to rattle the back line of Austria, and they've got the goals or get penalties. And especially now you've got VAR, you've got goal line technology being introduced into the games. That for me, it's going to be big, and it's going to show more on tackles for penalties, more on offsides, and more on even dangerous plays and handballs that us as teams in the Premier League and that we've seen at the Premier League we know about, but as in the WSL we've not seen. and the only players that will have seen this is the players that have played in the Champions League, because they've had that use of goal line technology, the VAR this season. So for me, it's going to be one of them that anything can happen in games. And for me, 2-1 in this game, especially after a 2-2 in the World Cup qualifiers that we've had, it's going to be a good game. So I do think Ireland will score. I'll say Northern Ireland, because I'll get shouted at if I say Ireland.
It's true.
But yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't see him not scoring, especially when it's their first major tournament. So yeah, 2-1 for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting. It is extremely going to be interesting. Reese has said, so with VAR and goal line technology being introduced, do we expect England's score lines to drop from around 20-odd nil to 7, 8 or 9 nil?
Yes.
I think with VAR, it's funny with VAR because obviously we watched a lot of the end of the Champions League, and apart from, maybe because it was ingrained in my head, apart from the Barca Real game, I can't remember it being really a big deal. That actually, where anything sort of happened is a big deal. I would sort of point out two things that come up to my head when Chloe was talking. One of them was amateur players make mistimed tackles when they're tired, and VAR, there's nowhere to hide. So maybe VAR will cause more penalties or more, or sort of, cause the numbers to go up, not down. Because of cards or whatever. But it just depends on what the refs, what they always get like instructions, don't they, about what they want to sort of highlight or push in a tournament. I think it might have been, was it one of the men's tournaments? I vaguely don't really watch the men's game, but I watched that, where they went OTT on the goalkeeper being off the line when the penalty is taken.
They're always doing that. It's the new rules now that they've got to be behind the line.
But
when they do
they used to
penalty.
give a yellow, but then they got so worried about it, and there were too many people off the pitch, they removed the yellow card thing for it, didn't they? So unless they do something like that, if they focus on one thing or something, then that'll be another thing to consider. If they look at, if they keep an eye on certain things.
Yeah, Chloe, what do you want to touch on about the VAR?
So
probably better keep using it as an example. It was just in my head. That's all. I still like Barca. Go on.
No, it is touching on the Barca as well. So obviously, I went to the road show at Trafford this week, and for the VAR studio, they have the refereeing studio,
Cool.
You get to do VAR, so you can pick penalty or not penalty, red card or yellow card. So I did the penalty or not penalty, and it was actually the Barca match, the Barca Real Madrid one, where it was VAR. So you actually got to see what the VAR, what they actually saw in the VAR, and you if you ever got a chance to go to the road shows, please do so, because it's such a great experience to go, and you would actually see the VARs. They actually showed more angles than we would see watching it on the TV.
Yeah.
So, and it showed how it got given, because the leg was left hanging from the Real Madrid player, and it made contact. So that's one that we've got to be careful on. If you're leaving your leg out, they're going to clip it and it's going to go over, and that's an instant penalty. And that was actually, if you pressed penalty, it was the correct answer. If you pressed not a penalty,
it was, because that's what happened in the game. It doesn't mean that it was correct in reality. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the thing.
It's stupid, that thing, isn't it? Oh, yeah. So you clicked penalty, Chloe?
Yeah.
Well, it was the right move anyway. It was definitely the right move. Should we go to the next game now? Which is England versus Norway, which is going to be an exciting match, let's just say. A very exciting match. We'll go with you, Andy, for your score, first of all.
This is going to be the game of the group.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, it's going to be affected by what happens against Austria. So if we do wobble, if it ends up a draw, if it ends up 1-0, or there's going to be a lot of pressure on England when they play Norway at the Amex. Norway with Ada Hedenberg is absolutely a different light years proposition than before Ada Hedenberg. And obviously when the groups were drawn, I believe 12 months ago, they she hadn't declared back into the team at that point then, so you wouldn't have realised. Is it unpatriotic to actually go for a Norway win?
You're gonna go with your gut. You've got to go with your gut, not your heart.
Because I'm going to be there. 2-1 Norway.
Oh, Chloe, what are you going to go for?
Like Andy was saying, it's going to be a tough match. Both teams are gonna know after winning both games that it's one to win, and whoever wins it is top of the group. But for me, with us both, I think both teams are so defensive as well as so attacking. It's getting that right balance. So I'm gonna actually go with a 2-2 draw.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That is interesting. To be honest, I went for the same approach as Chloe. I actually think it is going to be a draw because this is the game where both teams are going to want a win, and this is the game for me where it decides who comes first, who comes second. Because Andy, just as Andy touched on before, it's going to be a two-horse race in this one in particular. And I do think that it's going to maybe go down on goal difference for first and second place. And I think it is going to be a draw. But I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw instead. That's what I'm going to be going for anyway. Andrew made a Batman reference into the comments. So, nice one. Nice one, Andrew. But yeah, enjoy the game, Reese. I've actually gone for a Scotland win. You're going to probably be shocked at me about that. But yeah, I predicted Scotland to win. We'll go on to the next game now, which is going to be Northern Ireland versus England. Another potential battering, maybe? Chloe, what's your score prediction?
Are you able to get the previous scores up for us?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, because you're not on a laptop, so you can't cheat.
Okay.
Research
the previous scores for England versus Northern Ireland.
Yes, the ones that we had in the World Cup qualifiers.
If you just obviously bring up England and click on matches, I think it shows you all of them.
Yeah, so I've got them here anyway, all the previous ones. So I'll get the last 4 ones up, so then we'll be able to see them all. So here they are. Let me get that up. There. So here they are. Here's the previous games. So England has won 6-0 in February 21 against Northern Ireland. In the UEFA World Cup stage, England won 4-0 against Northern Ireland. And then another one, England won 5-0 against Northern Ireland. And, of course, the next one is going to be in the championship stage on the 15th of July, which is
I should have.
Euros.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I haven't done my choice yet. I was going to say there's an obvious one now to work out what the next score is going to be.
So, my score prediction is going to be a 7-0.
No, really.
But it's also
how did you fill that off?
It's also because I don't think they could score. I don't think they're going to score against us. I think their mindset is going to have been off, especially like we keep saying, like having the defeat against Norway, potentially the potential defeat against Austria. That's going to be on their mindset. They're going to be happy if they end up getting a couple of goals against each team. That's their main priority for me, I think. And I think their main priority as well is that it's getting to that stage of being at the Euros, and their next one will be getting to the World Cup for me.
Yeah.
So I think a 7-0, 8-0 will be
Which
good.
one?
But
Who are you gonna go for? I know you said 6 before. 6, 7, 8. Which one are you going for?
Go with 8-0.
Ooh, 8-0. You're nearly gone as bold as Vincent, who's gone for 15-0 for England.
I just thought that, and I was like, Vincent, that's a very bold decision, especially with VAR and goal line technology.
Mm-hmm. Hey there to Brush. I hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in. And what's your score prediction going to be?
You know what, though? There's two ways you can go on this, and I'm arguing against myself here. But, think about sometimes random teams could do random things in tournaments. I'm thinking specifically of, again, relatively recently, but Iceland men who went quite far when they really shouldn't have done.
Oh, when they beat us.
Yeah, for example. But supporting what Chloe's saying, these players aren't used to it's 3 games in how many days? And it's training sessions, and it's traveling, and it's going into a stadium and me saying hello to them in a loud way. They're just not used to that. So then it could be a high score. But then also there could be another argument that says, sorry, you'll be here all night. I appreciate it. There's an argument that says, they'll be out at this point. Could they be going for a let's beat England and make a famous thing? They won't beat England. But I would say, so I'm actually going to say, and I might regret this, but I'm actually going to say 2-0 England.
2-0 England. Okay. Interesting.
Because I think they could have because you know what us English are like? We're a weird bunch, and we almost like to be modest and polite and not, and they'll be part of the plucky underdog. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if we don't embarrass them too much because they got spanked 8-0 in Norway? They got spanked, So I reckon it could be a bit tighter because they're going to be out. It's going to be their last game. They're going to give everything because they're going to be going home after this game. So I think it could be tight.
Mm-hmm. Andrew and TJ's made a good point as well about resting first choice players, so that could be a possible situation depending on how we do play. But for me, I've gone for a 4-0 for England. I just think that even with the backup players we do have, so say for example, Ellen White's the first choice striker, a backup striker is Russo.
Yeah.
You look at, for instance, as well, Lucy Bronze, first choice fullback, Rachel Daly's a backup. So even our backups should do the business against Northern Ireland, and they should get a couple of goals. So that's why I've gone for 4-0. I think that it's not going to be too heavy, but I do think that England will just want to show the points like they always do against Northern Ireland, as we've seen. So we'll go on to the last game of Group A. So here it is, and the last game of Group A, which is Austria versus Norway. I think Norway's getting the win again. I think that final game of the tournament for the groups. Let's do it. Let's show it off as we are. Good team we played. So I think they will put a full team out. And I think that it will be a 3-0 win because I think Austria, in terms of defence, are not too badly defensively. So I don't think they'll let in as many as Northern Ireland, but I think that they will let a couple in. So I think I'm going to go for a 3-0. Chloe, what are you going to go for?
I'm going to go a 3-1 Norway because I think Austria, like I've mentioned before, I think Nicola Bile is a player that we need to watch for Austria in the group. I think she's one that will score. She's, for me. But like you said, Austria are very defensive. And it's going to be hard. But when you've got the likes of Hansen, Gora Reiten, and Hegenberg, and you've got them three players, and of course Alvilda Boisa as well.
Yeah.
And Maria Torres Dortias. We've got them players in that squad who are defensive and then attackive as well. So for me, Norway is probably, like I think, like TJ said here as well, resting some of their first team players and giving the other players some other games. But can I say him resting a majority of their first team players? Because if they're second to us and we're first, and you've got Germany and Spain first and second in Group B, we're automatically going to be thinking, who do we want to face? What path do we want to go down? So they're going to go out and win it, because if we win the group, we face second of B. So that could be Spain, Denmark, Germany. And if we runners up in our group, that same again. We face the winners of Group B, which could be Spain, Germany, Denmark. And I know
England.
Why have I highlighted that? That's really, really bad. That's really going to be a hard game.
Oh, that makes me feel ill.
That's going to be the next show, predicting Group B, which is as we call any of the hardest groups, the death. So that's what England will be thinking of, and it's also what Norway will be thinking of, because if you have that balance, if you literally have on the same points but different goal difference, and all you need is the win or the draw or more goals, are you going to drop your best players? So are you going to drop the Hande Hegenberg? Are you going to drop Hansen, Ingrid, Goravite and Boris? Are you going to drop them to play more defensively? Or are you going to play them to play more attackive, get more goals, win the game, win the group? And it's going to be the same for Serena. That's what she's going to be thinking of as well. And she's going to think, do I bring on the best players in the second half and see if we can get more goals in the second half, or go all out and then go, right, we're 5-0 up now. I'll take Ellen White off. I'll take Tooney off, because how many subs have we got in the Euros?
5, I think.
5.
So
I have a question for you as well, Chloe, because I'm looking at the Norway squad again. One of the names will be familiar to United fans as well. Aurora Mikkelsen, who's obviously ex sort of number 2 at United. But if I look at her, she's an SK Bron, and here we go. Apologies for anyone who's vaguely Norwegian, because I'm going to really butcher this. Seal Hastaka Fickerstrand. She plays in Norway. Those seem very weak keepers to me. There's no sort of big names there in relation to teams in Europe. What am I missing? Is a keeper going to be? Is she very good? Is a keeper going to be a hole in their armory a little bit?
Maisy, can you actually get the Norwegian squad up?
Yeah, I can do that.
Because I think they're the two backups.
Yeah, isn't it? Can you check the Norwegian?
Check the Norwegian. I was confused when it was them two in the sticker album.
Okay, so there might be others.
I actually think there's a third keeper. I actually think the top keeper's not been
put
on. So that's why I want to double check, because like you said there, I don't think they're the two top keepers. I'm sure.
I'm not even gonna pronounce these names, but
still in Norway though, isn't it? If you go back to that, was it Valerenga? That's still Norway though, isn't it? I know they're top in Norway.
Yeah, they're all Norway. Yeah.
Van Stander, that's actually the one of them that's actually in the squad. Arel Mikkelsen isn't actually on that page.
Okay.
For me, he's one. I think maybe the other one of them is injured. I think it's Guru Patterson. I think she might be injured. I could be wrong, and that's why they've not used her. But Celia is the main. I thought she was the main one, and I was right. but I wasn't sure. But she
But
is.
again, it's Norway, isn't it? Top keeper. Isn't it still the Norwegian league?
Yeah.
Is there a weakness there?
No, she's a top keeper. She is.
Right.
She's a very top keeper. Like, unfortunately, she does play for LSK Kina, but they're one of the top sides in Norway, and to see that she's got 43 caps, and is nearly at her 50th cap, and she could potentially get there with these Euros. That for me is incredible. So, and she's only what age? I can't. 26.
26.
Yeah,
so
very young still.
So for me, that's one where I think she's 26, nearly at 50 caps, and that's incredible. And then the third one, if you look, that's Zeneva Skonde. So I think she's not even played. So she's been rumoured, I think, to be going to Norway, but isn't featured in the album, where it's Aron Mikkelsen who is. So
she hasn't made a debut though yet. Mikkelsen, as
no.
I'm looking at.
Yeah, so I think both of them are both on the verge of which one do they take. It's like us, who do we take? Do we take Hannah Hampton or do we take Sandy? So it's if they're putting Aaron Mikkelsen in the book, but saying on the page two other keepers, but not Aaron Mikkelsen, that for me it's showing that they're unsure of who they want. But in the book, it's saying Aaron Mikkelsen, so she could potentially be second or third keeper. But Cecilia is probably one of the keepers that she'll be one of the young keepers, and maybe she can do well. She's a good player.
Okay, cool. I mean, obviously, you've also got, I noticed a couple of flags there that I recognise. You've got, obviously, Caroline Green Hansen on in attack, which is going to be great for Norway when you combine it with Edinburgh, obviously. And I lost the spelling there, but Inga, there's another Barcelona player.
Yeah, Barcelona. Yeah,
Good.
There's Inter Milan there, Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Reading. So there's two actually Barcelona player, Roma player as well. So Arsenal. So when you look at it minus the goalkeepers, they've got a very good squad, and perhaps maybe what the initial thinking could be is that they don't really need to put the best goalkeepers into the Euros, because they're probably relying more onto their attack and their, of course, the defensive players, because majority of them are already playing at top flight football.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you gonna? What's your score prediction, Ander?
Yeah, what was yours? Was yours 4-1? Was it? That was from Nelson.
Oh, did I mention mine? I think I said
3-1. You said
3-1. 3-1. Okay. And this is Norway, Austria.
Yes.
Yeah, Norway, Austria.
Because if I go tighter than when they played us, but obviously Austria could have an out. So depending on what happens, if there's some silly draws, which obviously England, men or women, have done in the past in tournaments in the past, they could have an outside chance for qualification at this point. So they could be throwing it all at each other. Yeah, you know what? I'll also go 3-1 Norway.
3-1 Norway. Interesting. So, yep, we've done our score predictions now, and it's now for table predictions. That will be the most interesting one. And we'll go with you, Chloe, for your table prediction first of all.
Oh, right. England first.
Yeah.
Norway second. Austria third. Northern Ireland fourth.
And what about you, Ander?
I suppose depends if I'm right or wrong on some of my previous predictions. If we lose against Norway and Norway win against all their teams, they'd be first. So it'd be Norway first, England second, Austria third, and Northern Ireland fourth.
So that's what you're gonna go for?
Yeah.
Okay. I've actually had the exact same one what Andy had. I had Norway first, England second, Austria third, and Northern Ireland fourth. I just think it's gonna go down eventually onto goal difference in terms of the first and second.
I'm praying that Spain finish first, because if we finish second, we would face them.
Yeah.
So run that by me again. Why would you want to play the Ballon d'Or winner, Hermoso as well, or all these great quality Spanish players and knock us out?
No, I'm saying if we finish first and Spain finish first, we're not going to.
Yeah.
But if we finish second and Spain finish first, we're going to play against each other. So for me, I'd rather finish first, Spain finish first, and we face Germany or Denmark.
Yeah, that is very true. That is, and I think, well, we'll obviously touch on this another stream, but I think Spain will come first, to be honest, when you look at it. But we'll touch on that obviously on the next stream. But hey there to Paul, I hope you're well. Before we do wrap up the stream, we'll put our guaranteed goal scorer on. So it has to be one player from the whole tournament. You can't pick one for each team. It's one player for the whole tournament. So that might be a little easier.
One player in each group?
Yeah, one player per group.
Yeah.
I know both of you already had your goal scorer. So we'll go with you first, Andy. Who's your goal scorer?
It's obvious. It's Ada Hedenberg.
Of course.
It's just absolutely obvious. It's probably going to be the one I'll get right out of all this kind of situation. And it was partly down to who gets asked first, but I think that's why Chloe looks like she's sort of a bit uncomfortable there. But I think it's an obvious one. I think, to be honest, if Ada Hedenberg doesn't score in the tournament, I think certain people will be asking for a refund. I mean, she's going to score, I think.
Mm-hmm. Would you had this as that same one, Chloe?
No.
Ooh.
What?
No. I was actually Carolina Graham Hansen.
Is that for Norway as well?
Yeah, for Norway. Even though she's on the wing, she's still attacking, and you see that at Barca. So for me, I think Hansen's alongside Ander Hegenberg will score. But it was a toss up between Ander Hegenberg and Hansen, but I went for Hansen with her being a winger
and a Barca player.
Interesting.
Yeah, what about you, Maisy?
I've gone for an England player, and I've gone for Lauren Hemp. I think I think that she is definitely going to score. I think even if it's going to be in the high-scoring games, I can see her getting a goal, because looking at the England squad, she's one of the players who's been most on form this season. So I think she'll want to make a mark in the tournament, to be honest, in the group stages. I think she'll probably have a good run. So I've gone for Lauren Hemp anyway in terms of my goal scorer. But our predictions are all done, all sealed. We can't change them now. Sorry.
You're me.
What about? I don't. Obviously, we meant that we do this for other groups, but I wonder what people's views are on who's actually going to get cut from the extended squad, because it's 28 to 23. Is it? It goes down to.
Yeah. Not Netherlands have already done their 23, so they're fully done. And then all the rest are doing provisional squads.
I mean, with England, I mean, maybe it's more civilly because we all know England a bit better. Who do you think might miss out on the?
I have who I think will miss out, and I have who I want to miss out. In my head.
You sound like me. I love it.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. But
it's another thing. It's getting shirts as well. So waiting for the shirts to get the right name on the back. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm waiting for that the numbers to come out, because I know who I want on the shirt, but I'm just waiting, of course, for the numbers to come out. Who you all getting on your shirt then? Who you getting under?
Well, I think we would be excommunicated from the Manchester United supporters group and probably every other channel that we deal with if it wasn't a United player that you would get. So I've kind of varied between. I've kind of moved around a little bit between, obviously Tooney and Russo, but I think obviously I think it'd be Russo, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And who are you getting, Chloe?
I'm not going to mention because I'll be kicked out. I'll be kicked out.
Oh, you won't be kicked out. My England shirt has got Mason Mount on the back. Come on.
I've got Phil Foden on the back.
I also know what name's on the back of that shirt, but we'll leave that for a sort of bonus.
We'll leave that one for a rainy day.
Night player at the time, so let's go there.
Yeah,
go on. Pull. We know you love you. Go on, pull the band-aid off.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I'll do a non-England player if you want as well, just to say.
Well, I've got. It's between two players. It's between Beth Mead because she's a United fan anyway.
She's a United fan anyway. Yeah.
That's an exception.
So it's Beth Mead and also Rachel Taylor.
Okay.
She was linked to United, so
she's going out with a United player. She's a partner of a United player, so maybe we could link that in somewhere. Yeah, if it was a non-United player, it would be Beth Mead. I mean, I think she's pretty cool. She's got a great mentality. She's an extremely good player. Unfortunately, there's no way in hell we'll ever get her. But it would be a fantastic buy if we ever did. So, but what about you, Maisy?
I'm gonna get Russo on the back. But if I was gonna pick a non-United player, I'd either pick Beth England or Kirby. I quite like them both as players. I couldn't bring myself to get a City player, unfortunately. But
here's a question: even though Bronze is officially left City now, would you get her on the back?
Nah.
No.
Even
if United.
Nah, probably won't get her, to be honest.
You know when they leave United and we say once a red, always a red, but it works the other way around. They can't fully shake off the stench of playing for City. So maybe if they go to another club and then go to another club after that, then maybe you can. But no, it's joking. Obviously, she's going to end up in the NWSL, I think. Anyway, so Casey.
Yeah.
Interesting. It'll be a good interest to see what happens. But yep, all done our predictions for Group A. And we'll wrap it up here. Chloe, thank you so much for coming on. Would you like to shout your socials?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Maisy. I'm to say again, congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Everyone, please subscribe to Maisy's channel. Let's get up to 2,000. My social is Chloe Riley 14 on Twitter. Thanks for having me on, Maisy. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait for the next prediction.
Yep. Group B next is going to be a much harder one, but I'm looking forward to it. And thank you as well for the lovely words. Andy, thank you as well for coming on. Would you like to share your socials?
Yeah, and again, obviously, really pleased to be part of it and part of the journey to be 1,000 subscribers. And I think, it will just shoot up from here. I think, obviously my main is at AJ_87, which is my personal Twitter account. But as I said, it swings more towards Man United these days, and I wonder what's going to happen over the Euros. I think by the end of the show, I got my head in the England game and stopped becoming City v United. But I don't know if you can ever sort of switch that off. But I really enjoyed tonight. I think it's been really good fun, and I enjoy it all the time anyway. But I think it's going to be interesting, these prediction ones, and I'm just flashbacking now to sort of like, oh, let's look how we did, and sort of like Chloe will be up here, you'll be in the middle, and I'll be like 0.
I can imagine that will be the case.
Oh, you can imagine it. There you go. Yeah. You're like, sounds it, because you've said some utterly mental predictions tonight. Well, there you go. That's a hook to see whether or not I'm right or not.
Thank you again for coming on, Andy, and the lovely words. I put all the links in the description below for your Twitters, so give Chloe and Andy a follow. I'll be next live myself tomorrow for a Champions League quiz, and we'll be doing our predictions again next week, but this time for Group B. So if you're watching and you're watching it back, put your comments on your predictions for this round, and have a bit of a think on what you want for the next group. We've got 3 more groups to go, so that'll be over the pace of 4 weeks. So we'll be here for 4 weeks giving our predictions, which is going to be interesting. We'll see you all very soon, though. It's a goodbye for now.
See ya.